Now then, welcome back. I am going to do another video where I am on Reddit. This time I'm going to prowl the tattoo advice subreddit and give my opinions on the posts on there. I did one of these before and I thought it was quite fun to do, so I'm going to keep that as a regular video, potentially anyway. But anyway, let's get going. Right, first up, I'm just going to scroll down the feed as it comes so we get my natural reaction. You know how it is. Did I mess up adding the ladybug? So, there it is. So, I am presuming that they had this without the lady. Did they add it? They must have added it right at the start of the design. Let's just see if there's any more context in the comments or anything, see what's going on. I got this 2 weeks ago, and I'm pretty obsessed. I added the ladybug at the last second, and it's my only regret. I would say you have not messed up. I get like kind of questions like this on occasion. Why won't this go back? Go back. Bloody internet in the shop. Yeah, I get like I see things like this a lot, and you, as the person with a tattoo, notice any little bits that you're not, like as happy as you could or should be with things. But like, as a tattoo, like I honestly just don't think anyone will really pay any attention to that ladybug. It looks kind of cool. It adds a little something down to that bottom bit, like the stem, it kind of just, like trails off a little bit. That's not a bad thing that it does that, but it just adds a little something down at that bottom section to look at, really, so it's not just all the trail off. I don't think anyone else is going to notice it, really. Like, obviously they'll notice it's there, but no one's going to be like, fucking hell, you've ruined that with that ladybird. When it's a really good tattoo. I'm not sure who's done it, but did they say in the comments? I think I literally just fucking ignored who did it. Hippo.caffeinepower on Instagram. It's a fucking mint tattoo. I think it's really good, really well done. Nice design. It flows. I was talking about in a previous video on about unrelated, but on about tribal, how like tribal should flow with like kind of like the muscle or like turning points of the arm and stuff, and this flows really good. It's got that nice curve. It's really satisfying to look at, and then it's got like this cool looking flower and bird. It's in like a kind of half illustrative blackwork, semi-realistic style, and yeah, I think it looks fucking sick, and this person does not need to worry about that ladybug. I'd say eventually, if they turned it into a full kind of wildlife sleeve, that it's going to be even less noticeable. Not that it needs to be less noticeable, because it looks cool anyway. Anyway, let's move on. Right, what's next? So let's scroll down. There's a lot of adverts on Reddit now, isn't there? It's fucking shit, everything. Just everything, everywhere you go. I forgot to moisturize my 4-day-old tattoo out of the shower and immediately left the house. Am I cooked? Nope, you are not. First off, I like this tattoo. Let's see if he's mentioned who did it, just to give them a shout out for a cool tattoo. No, they didn't. Oh, brilliant, it's crashed. Oh no, it doesn't. Yeah, I forgot to moisturize my 4-day-old tattoo. No, it's not. You're not cooked. It looks cool. I really like it. In terms of like healing a tattoo, the moisturizing them isn't like essential. It's important, but it's not essential. It stops scabbing, prevents or lessens scabbing is maybe like a better way to describe it. But it's not essential. Like some people like completely dry heal, especially if a tattoo looks a bit like it's closing in on getting an infection, then like you'll get recommended to let it dry out and stuff like that, and most of the time, even with an infection, as long as it's not a really bad one, then the tattoo will actually still heal okay. So there's absolutely no reason to worry when healing a tattoo if you've like forgot to once or twice or whatever, or for a full day you've forgot to moisturize your tattoo or been unable to moisturize your tattoo. It's not going to be the end of the world. Just try and do it when you should. What I usually recommend to do with healing tattoos, obviously this is specific to my style. Each artist has a different way they've found to recommend healing their tattoos, so this doesn't go for everyone, especially not like realism and stuff. Realism and like full color neos, like different kind of ball game to heal. But what I usually say is to I'll wrap the tattoo up. This is if it's cling film. If it's like Saniderm or second skin, it's a different process, obviously. But normal healing, I'd say just to wrap it up in cling film initially when you leave the studio, which I'll do. Then leave that on for a couple of hours. Take it off, give it a good rinse down in the shower with some either just hot water to get kind of all the gunk off it, or we actually sell a product in our shop called Ethical Alchemy Moon Wash. It's like the moon range. They do moon balm, moon spray, moon wash. And the moon wash is a soap specific and dedicated to tattoos. So we usually give people one of those, and I'll wash it down with that. And then just kind of keep an eye on it. Make sure you keep it clean. Go to bed. And then the next day, I just say wash it 2 or 3 times a day and pop some aftercare on it. And that's about it, really. It's not super important. The aftercare, you want to be doing it, but don't worry if you haven't. I probably went a bit too long on that one. Talking about my aftercare routines, let's move straight on. What a question. Tattoo healing with cuts. This looks nasty, doesn't it? What's going on here? Let's see if there's a better... Whoa, what's happening there, man? Fucking hell. Don't actually know what's happened here. They've absolutely fucking dragged the liner through the skin there, so much so that it's actually cut the skin, it looks like. That can happen if you're running a few sort of things, really. The rest of these lines don't look great either. Like, that is fucked. These ones don't look good. There's glimpses, there's notes of lines that are okay, maybe like that bit there, but most of the line work on this looks absolutely fucked. Like, it looks like they hate they've gone like, "Get here, you little rat, I'm gonna put this tattoo in your flesh." Like, it looks like they've got some fucking malice for their customer here, and they've absolutely fucking smashed it right into the skin. Because the main outline's like blown out and kind of not in there as well at the same time. But then, yeah, the question I'm asking is, it's healing with cuts. So I think that can happen if you're going in too deep and running your machine a bit too high. Because if you're just going in deep, it'll kind of just blow out, and you'll get this scabby kind of like irritated like look. He's carved that in real bad. But then for this to happen, I think they have to have been running the machine way too high, and it's served as like a kind of fucking, instead of like hitting the skin and like literally just placing the ink in the skin, it's been running too fucking fast, and it's turned into basically like a fucking electric knife, and it's just sliced right through. I think that's what's happened anyway. Whatever's happened, this person should not go back to this artist, because they do not know how to tattoo. They know how to fucking destroy someone's arm with a tattoo machine. And that's about it, really. I'll move on, because it's a bad one, that, isn't it? They've tried to shade a little bit off it as well, and what's probably happened there, sorry to linger, but they've probably fucking destroyed it, like smashed this fucking line in, like ripped that in, and then afterwards maybe decided, oh, let's just do a little bit of mag shading off it, and then they've probably started the mag shading you know, like the lines there, they've probably like shaded away from the line like that, which every time they've started on the line, that's been like fucking digging it deeper into the skin, you know, like fucking wow, just fucking ripping that shit up. Yeah, don't get tattooed off whoever the fuck did this, because they'll kill you. Right, let's have a look what's next. Tattoo advice. What is this style called? Right, I'll just have a quick. I won't linger on this one. So what you get a lot is I'd call this. Okay, so what you get a lot, I see it a lot on this subreddit, is people saying, "What is this style called?" And for the most part, I'll see if I can find one after this actually. But for the most part, it's this style that's in at the moment called like dark ornamental, I'd call it, or sometimes cyber sigilism. Those two seem to be the most requested. What is this style post? We'll have a look after this, but a point I'd like to make is that not all styles have names, because it's like I've named on my Instagram for my like style, it says medieval gothic. Now that is just two words that I've made up that represent the vibe of the tattoos I do. It doesn't mean if you go to another artist and say, I would like a medieval gothic tattoo, they're not going to go like, oh, I know what you mean, and just do a fucking tattoo exactly like what looks like one of my tattoos, you know? It's just not going to work like that. That's just two words I've used on my profile to like capture people that go like, oh, what's this guy about? And, oh, medieval gothic. That sounds like a bit of me. I'll book in for a tattoo. And that's kind of like the problem is that people are like, what is this style called? And like, as far as I'm aware, this style doesn't have a name. It's just some guy that like has done some tattoos in a way that he likes to tattoo. If I could choose a way to describe it in the same sense, like say I was this artist and I was trying to attract people, you know, by putting the name on my profile, I'd maybe put ignorant / trash polka, maybe, like, or like prison style polka or something like that. Maybe it's a messy style, but it's done in a way that's on purpose to do that. But if you get tattoos like that, people forever are just going to be like, you've got bloody children's scribbles all over you. Why have you done that to yourself? So I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you're super committed to being okay forever with people telling you look like you've got scribbles all over your body and that, because that's what's going to happen. I think it looks quite cool, but not a lot of people will share that sentiment, I don't think. Anyway, let's move on. I'm just going to skip past that one. But let the shop Apprentice tattoo me. What do we think? Let's just see if there's any context in the comments. Please be kind, like the kid and love the tattoo, so I don't have an eye for the technical flaws. He chewed me up a little bit, but I expected slow and heavy-handed. That is entirely correct, and that's a great tattoo. I don't know how long this person's been tattooing, obviously, but that is, I'd say that is a sweet tattoo for an apprentice tattoo. The two things you can definitely expect from getting an apprentice tattoo is slightly having the skin chewed up and it taking longer than usual. Speed sometimes never forms. You don't have to be fast. What I always tell people, if I'm either giving them advice or teaching them a tattoo, is to focus on doing it right first, and eventually you'll get faster at doing it right. The only benefit really of being faster is, depending on your views of tattooing, is that you can allow your customer to be in pain for less time, which I think's slightly important. But if you just focus on doing the tattoo to the best of your ability, eventually over time, it can take years. You'll suddenly one day be like, oh, like I'd say if I had to guess, an apprentice doing this, it could have taken like 4 hours or something like that. Whereas if you got someone who's been tattooing for 10 years to do it, it's probably going to take like 90 minutes or something like that. Especially if you go to like, you know, someone who's real good at this kind of trad, and they just fucking smash it in. You know, like a tattoo like this, it's probably like one of 4 that a trad artist will be doing that day. But as an apprentice tattoo, it's fucking mint, to be honest. I really like it. Let's move on. We'll do one more, shall we? Right, what's next? Go back. Do you notice the small flaw? Oh, it's like a riddle. I'm gonna see if I can figure out what they're talking about. The small. I don't see anything. It's not like the best tattoo I've ever seen, but it's a good tattoo. You know, like the small flaw. Is it? Maybe that's not entirely circular, which could be to do with just the position of the arm. You know, like you put the stencil on one way and then you twist the arm, and like this distorts as I turn. So that could be a perfect circle when the arm's hung naturally. Maybe that line's excuse me, that line's a bit like not straight. This is a great thing to do, to post on the internet if you want complete strangers to pick out flaws in your tattoo. Because this person said, do you notice the small flaw? And now I'm like looking for all the small flaws in it. So yeah, maybe it's that's like a little bit wobbly, but that's all right. Like, no tattoo is perfect. That's the problem. No tattoo is going to be perfect because they are man-made, and humans can't really achieve perfection with anything because we're flawed across the board, really. There's no tattoo that's perfect. They'll all of them have something's gone wrong at some point. Most of the time, obviously, I'm talking about like fairly sized tattoos. You know, you might get a fucking little word or something where it's tattooed crisp as fuck, and it'll be like relatively 10 out of 10. But like if you get like a fairly sized tattoo that's like hand sized or bigger, there's probably a little whoops in there somewhere, and that's all right. It's normal, you know. Like, no one can do a perfect tattoo without something going wrong. It's all about like how you hide the little flaws. But if you want to find out your flaws in a tattoo, definitely go onto Reddit and post a photo saying, "Can you see the small flaw?" Because you're gonna get a fucking shitload of strangers just being like, "It's this bit, it's this bit." Let's have a look in the comments and see if they actually. Yeah, this top comment, this is an excellent way to find out more flaws than you hadn't noticed. I don't know. According to the picture, you are right, but I think it's the picture on my show that gives this impression. Tell us. Tell us. Ah, right. Is it that it doesn't have? I think the supposed flaw is that its other front leg isn't there. But you know, I just presumed it was fucking somewhere else. It could be perfectly. It could be behind this perfectly. Technically, you know, like you also can't see its other foot. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I got this a while back on. I posted a video of an octopus that I drew onto someone's foot, and it got loads of comments being like, "Oh, it's only got 7 arms or 6 arms or something like that." And there was a few points that I made, but basically the main one was that I purposefully left a couple of legs out of sight just in case I wanted to use them in the background somewhere when we added more to the tattoo. But it brought me to the main point, which is you can't always see everything. You know, like if I sit like this and put this arm up like that, that doesn't mean I've only got one arm, because you can't see my other arm. Do you know what I mean? And if I put this hand up, let's have a look. If I can get this lined up on there. There we go. Sort of, anyway. But, you know, you can't see my other hand, but it's still there. I still have it. It still exists. And that's the same thing with this cat, this Sphinx, really. Just because it's not visible doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You can also only see one eye. Doesn't mean it's only got one eye. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's fine. People fucking worry loads about tattoos, man. Like, YOLO, innit? Just get the fucking tattoos, man. Nobody cares. You're going to look like shit when you're old anyway. So fucking, you might as well die with loads of drawings on your body, mightn't you? People say that a lot. Like, I get it quite a lot. Like, off fucking middle-aged Debbies and that. They're like, what are those bloody face tattoos going to look like when you're older? And I'm like, fucking what are you going to look like, Debbie? What are you going to look like when you're older? You're going to look like shit, like everyone else does. You're going to be old and wrinkly. Your skin's going to sag. You're going to go all flappy and wrinkly. And you're going to fucking die alone with no bloody drawings on your skin. Because no one loves you because you're a fucking little judgmental bloody arsehole. So you might as well just get some fucking tattoos and not care as much what people think, what you look like. Because we're all going to look like fucking bags of piss once you get past a certain age. And you're not going to be like, oh man, look at that bloody 83-year-old, he's fit. He hasn't got any tattoos, he looks bloody handsome, doesn't he? No, you're just like, oh, he looks good for his age. That's about as best as it gets, really, isn't it? Apart from that, we're all going to look fucking rotten. Me included, everyone included. Because that's what aging does. You are dying, you're decaying, you're turning into fucking soil. So like when people like what you're gonna look like when you're older with all them bloody tattoos, I'll just tell them I'm gonna fucking look like a pack of shit, but I'm gonna have tattoos, so I'll probably look a bit fucking cooler than someone who doesn't have tattoos, won't I? And, you know, who cares? We live on a floating rock and worship a ball of fire millions of fucking miles away that has such an effect on us that when the planet turns and it goes dark, you immediately feel the lack of heat and light. And yet still people are like, oh my God, you've got a bloody tattoo. You've ruined your skin. It's like, you know, we could die at any moment. A cosmic horror could descend upon us from the outer limits of space and fucking swallow the planet, and then humans will be no more. There'll be nothing left, no evidence, no history, no smartphones, no television, no tattoos, no people, no pets, nothing. And then you'll still have one fucking surviving little Debbie, just a husk in the corner, being like, oh, I'm glad I didn't get any tattoos. That would have been shit. Yeah, I suppose that can be the end of that video, can't it? Cheers.